Do you think prenups help marriages last?
Yes.
You're saying that as a divorce lawyer who gets paid to write them?
No, because it's the least profitable thing we do.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Prenups are so easy. Like they're really like to the point now where they're essentially automated. Like I see a future where AI is just going to do them. Like it's really not that tricky.
Do you think I should get a prenup?
Yes, of course.
Why do you think I should get a prenup?
You have a prenup. It'll either be written by the state legislature or it'll be written by you and she. Who do you trust more? You've been to the DMV? Have you walked into the DMV and went, oh, these people are great. They should be in charge of everything. I mean, you know what? They should make the rules for our marriage. And by the way, even though this legislature changes constantly, like whoever you are, whatever your political views are, in the last 20 years, at some point, you've gone, I cannot believe who's in charge here. I cannot believe who's in charge of the government, whatever side of the aisle you're on. So what you're saying, because your marriage has a prenup, you get married, you've got a prenup. You're saying, I trust the legislature of the state in which we will be residing in the future in the event we break up more than I trust my partner, who I've chosen out of 8 billion options.
I imagine a lot of people listening would be scared to mention a prenup to their partner.
And those people in particular, by the way, it's just like I said about, I don't have 15 minutes a day to meditate. Great that you need an hour. If you'd be scared to mention a prenup to your partner, then you should definitely mention a prenup to your partner. Because what that means is I'm afraid to have a hard conversation with my partner. And if you're gonna get married, you should get accustomed to having hard conversations. Life is gonna come at you very fast, and there's gonna be lots of things that happen that require hard conversations.
What if my partner says no?
Says no to the prenup?
Yeah.
Have a conversation about why.
And they say, well, you don't trust me? Like, you think I'm gonna take your stuff? This is not very sexy. This is...
Well, arguably, you don't trust me equally, right? Because that trust works both ways. So what you're saying when you say you don't trust me is you're saying that you don't trust that this marriage is going to last. Or you're saying you don't trust that in the event this marriage ends, we won't be fair to each other, right? So why would you marry someone who you don't believe that they're going to be fair to you? You're not protecting yourselves against each other. You're protecting yourselves against the government making the rule set in the event that your marriage ends in something other than death.
I've got a friend. There's 2 people that convinced me that I should get a prenup.
Mm-hmm.
One of them was you.
Thanks.
And then the other was watching a friend go through divorce. And he said to me, actually, when we went for dinner one time, that it was, it was looking at his face and seeing the depression in his face from the process, because not only had it ruined his relationship with his ex-wife, because they've gone through this onslaught for 7 years where 2 sets of lawyers were fighting either side. Yeah. He said that he'd paid for her lawyers, which he has to do, which I wasn't aware of.
There's a presumption that the higher earning individual should be responsible for the reasonable legal fees of the less earning spouse.
He said her lawyer has now got a skyscraper. Whereas when this divorce started, he was in a small little office. Now he's got some massive building because he's had to spend tens of millions on her lawyers.
Yeah.
And
I've had clients who paid millions.
The other thing he said was that her lawyer is trying to inflate his assets to tell the judge that his business is worth billions of dollars. When actually,
now I know why this divorce is taking so long. They have dueling experts. So instead of the 2 lawyers hiring a neutral expert to value his business interests, what they've elected to do instead is to hire individual partisan experts. And that happens sometimes. And when you hire an individual partisan expert, of course, you're going to, if you represent the party who wants half of this thing, you're going to find someone. The cigarette companies had doctors who were willing to testify that cigarettes are good for you. You can find an expert to say almost anything if you pay them enough. So you find credible experts that will overly value the business. And then, because value is speculative. And then the other side has an incentive to hire experts who will deliberately diminish the value of the business. And then you have 2 opportunities. One is you can play with the data set and you can impeach the data set. And then the other is you can impeach the conclusion that came from the data set. So you can say you used the wrong data and that's how you got to the wrong conclusion. Or you can say you used the right data, but you came to the wrong conclusion, or some combination of both. This is the shit I get to do all day in a courtroom, is to try to engineer those optics or prevent those optics from being engineered in that direction.
And say that I was going through a divorce now with my partner. My wife would, her lawyer would theoretically be trying to say that this podcast is worth $1 billion.
Yeah.
Because then, theoretically,
she's entitled to a larger percentage, yeah.
She might be entitled to 500 million.
Yeah.
And if the judge believes that this podcast is worth $1 billion, I need to find a way to pay her 500 million.
Yeah.
Even if I don't have it.
It can be paid over time. It's what's called a distributive award. It can be paid over an extended period of time.
And my lawyer is going to be trying to argue that this is worth nothing.
Worth nothing. It's absolutely effortless. It's worth nothing. You should have negative contingency discounts, a key man discount. It's a lack of discount for marketability. This is all I do all day. This is the gig. And see, you know why you want a prenup? Is because God forbid for both of you that happens. Like you're going to pay me. I get $1,000 an hour to help people navigate that kind of chaos or to create that kind of chaos as a weapon against a person or to just threaten that kind of chaos.
Doesn't that mean it's in your interest to stretch out?
To amplify conflict and stretch it out and protract it. And by the way, I manipulate people's emotional state for a living. I said that earlier. You don't think I could use my powers for evil to get my client terrified and worried that forces are aligning against him? By the way, that's how good lawyers get their reputation as being good lawyers. Because sometimes we have a client where we could potentially make millions of dollars and we settle the case within like $10,000 worth of fee. Like I have a case right now where my opposing counsel is, I would consider the only lawyer in New York City better than me. Like he's sort of like an idol to me in the sense that he's such a good trial lawyer. And he's my adversary on this case. And it's not the first case we've had against each other. And we are like, when the two of us go in a courtroom, it's like T-Rexes fighting. We're gonna settle this case in like 2 phone calls because we both are just not the kind of people that are gonna unnecessarily amplify conflict. We have our reputation because we don't do that. Like the best of us, that's how you earn the reputation. The people that do that amplifying of conflict, word gets out. Word gets out, and this is a business where you live and die by your reputation. So this is actually a great illustration of what a prenup should be, okay? All a prenup is not a referendum on the likelihood of us breaking up. A prenup is not a commentary on how much we trust each other. A prenup is not, an opportunity to screw the person you're about to join lives with, okay? A prenup is a rule set. It's creating tranches, okay? So you have some things, she has some things. Right now, you don't owe her anything, she doesn't owe you anything. Yours is yours, hers is hers. You're in the title system.
Can we talk about if we're just dating? So if
Sure.
we're dating, I heard that there's some laws where if you date someone long enough, eventually they can basically argue that they own your stuff.
Yeah, so that's called what used to be called common law marriage, or it makes you responsible for what used to call palimony, which is like alimony for a friend, palimony, okay? Most jurisdictions no longer honor that. It doesn't exist. It was largely a function of the absence of marriage equality. So once marriage equality occurred, once gay and lesbian individuals could marry, the court system essentially started saying there's no such thing as a quasi-marital relationship anymore. If you are married, you're married. If you're not, you're not. So if you decide to live together and you don't have a marriage, then you can't have a quasi-marital relationship anymore. Now that marriage equality is the law of the land and everyone who wants to get married is allowed to get married, you can't say, well, we were kind of like married, but we weren't married. Like you're either married or you're not married. Those are the 2 tranches. So that situation, you're in the title system. Yours is yours, hers is hers. There is no we except for the voluntary we.
Okay, so now coming back to this example of these M&Ms and prenups.
So here's what marriage is, simply put. There's you, there's me, and this is we. This is the bucket of we, okay? When we get married, we're gonna take you, I didn't put it all. See, I didn't put it all, okay? I'm keeping this separate. That's called separate property. Okay, in California, this is called community property. This is anything I acquire during the marriage, okay? This is separate property. If I keep it separate, it stays separate, okay? It stays separate. Keep that thought. This is her, okay? She's put some of hers in there too. It may not be exactly the same, but it's pretty close to it. And by the way, we just got married. It's pretty obvious to see which one's which, right? Okay. So this is any marriage really, with or without a prenup. Okay. This is what marriage looks like. There's you and there's me and there's we. We're combining. And by the way, this isn't just for assets and liabilities. This is like the nature of our stuff, our furniture, the things we bring to the relationship. You could even argue it's like what we watch on TV, right? It's you, me, we, and we combine the two. Okay. Now you and I both know this is actually what this starts to look like. It never stays this neat, does it? It always starts to get kind of mixed up together. In the law, we call that co-mingling. Okay. Now, here's what's interesting. With a prenup, this stays this simple because anything you put in this bucket is marital.
And that could be stuff I bought for the house. It could be a joint bank account.
It could be anything, okay? All we're doing when we have a prenup is yours, mine, ours. And we're defining that. So maybe I want you to feel I'm very invested in this relationship, so I throw some more in. Hey, babe, I just got a bonus at work. I'm throwing it into the we. I'm keeping a little over here.
Wait, can you do that after the marriage?
With a prenup? Yeah.
So you can add to a prenup.
With a prenup, what you're saying is, if it's in my name, it's mine, asset or liability. If it's in your name, it's yours, asset or liability. If it's in our joint names, we divide it 50-50 or how we agree in writing. But we create 3 separate buckets, yours, mine, and ours, okay? Do you know what happens in the state of California after 7 years, or in the state of New York if you commingle assets in any way? This is solely things in your name. This is solely things in her name, things you owned before marriage. This is the you and the me before you got married. It's community property now, all of it.
Everything.
All of it. Every bit of it. You didn't have a prenup. Everything that's in it. Everything in here is subject to division. Everything that's in here is subject to identification, valuation, and division. And think about sorting that out.
And also going back to my friend, some of the value of these assets is up for debate.
Sure. Not only is the value, because look, some of these are cracked and some of them aren't. And did they crack in this process or were they cracked before? Did she crack them or did you crack them? And which ones are worth more than the others? And were these the same at the beginning? It doesn't matter. It's all in. And by the way, take out the marital, take out your property now. How long is that going to take you? It's impossible to do. Once you're in the community property system, once you've put something into the we category, if you get married without a prenup, you can unintentionally buy into this system, which, by the way, I make a very comfortable living helping people sort this out. Whereas, all you had to do was agree on the rule set of yours, mine, ours. And then this is intentional. Now, I understand why that's scary for some people, because you have to have a conversation about, well, are we putting that in joint names? Or, well, you got that bonus. Are you putting it in my account or your account, or some in your account and some in my account, or some in this? But isn't it better to keep some level of control over this?
If I was a financially motivated individual and I was marrying, say, you, and you were a billionaire, I mean, it's very much in my interest to avoid this prenup.
Maybe. Yeah.
Because then, it's all going to become we in 7 years' time. So I've just got to be with you for 7 years, and then I can bounce out of this, and I'm going to make half $1 billion. Sure. Have you ever seen that?
Of course.
Have you ever seen?
Of course I have. But here's also what I will say to you: flip that story for a second. So we're married for 6.5 years. It's going pretty well. We're at the 6.5 year mark. You're a billionaire. You're probably not stupid, right? Are you going to take that bet?
Is it 7 years is the moment?
7 years is the moment.
When it all becomes...
community property, yeah.
So do you find some very successful people...
Yeah, they spike the divorce rate at 6 years, 6.5 years. Because why? It's the same reason why I tell people don't put what we call, sunset clauses in a prenup. Because people all have the bright idea that they're going to, oh, well, we'll do a prenup, but after 10 years, it'll go away. After 10 years, it'll self-destruct, like in Mission Impossible. And all that does is makes people ask really icky questions at the 9.5-year mark, where they have to start going, because 7 years, it's like the honeymoon's over, maybe you got a kid or two, and all of a sudden you go, okay, do I want fully 1/2 of everything I owned prior to the marriage to now be subject to division? Is it going that good? Do I want to take this bet? Like, look, we live in reality. What you're doing when you marry someone is you're marrying your destiny to them, and you're making decisions about a future that you can't see. It hasn't happened yet.
If 7 years is the moment when our assets become co-mingled to the point that community property, where we have to kind of split our assets in a relationship. Have you ever seen someone get to like 7 years and 1 day and then file for divorce because they're going to get half?
I've had people who wait until the exact moment. Like there's other formulas that are applicable. Like I have plenty of people right now that have come to me for a consultation and they're like, I'm not going to file for another 6 months because we'll hit 20 years in 6 months. And when we hit that, it kicks up to another level of alimony in terms of the formulas. Like, here's the thing. When the government makes decisions for you, they set numbers. Like there's a highway near where we are right now. It's 55 miles an hour is an acceptable legal speed to drive on that. 56 and you're committing a crime. 76 and you're committing a different level of crime. 106 and you're committing a higher level felony crime, right? Is 56 and 55 that much different? No, we had to pick a number, so we picked that number. So do you trust the government to pick the number? That's the only question to ask when you're thinking about a prenup is, do I trust the government so much that I'm going to let them pick the number? Personally, I don't. Personally, if I like someone so much that I've decided I'm going to choose them out of 8 billion other options, I would think I have enough faith in that person to come up with a rule set between us that and by the way, not a complicated rule set. If it's in my name, it's mine. If it's in your name, it's yours. If it's in our name, it's ours. Then you can have all the conversations you want about why aren't you putting things in joint names or why are you putting things in joint names and here's what I need to feel safe. Because here's the thing. If you're the billionaire or you're the person marrying the billionaire, you both want to feel, remember, we're going back to what is it you want to feel? What is it you want to feel? That's the key question. What do you want to feel? You both want to feel safe. Isn't that fair? I've represented a lot of victims of intimate partner abuse and domestic violence and coercive control. And I can tell you, you can't feel loved if you don't feel safe. And there's lots of ways for a person to feel unsafe. Physically, emotionally, financially. There's lots of ways to make someone feel. I hope you want to make your fiancé feel safe, and I hope she wants to make you feel safe. So one of the ways that you make her feel safe, by the way, you can't protect her from everything in the world. You know that, right? Like somebody drops a nuke, there's nothing you're gonna be able to do to help her with that, okay? There's lots of things that can happen that you can't keep her safe from, but you're gonna do your darndest, and that's great, okay? And by the way, like she wants you to feel safe. She wants you to feel safe and not taken advantage of and loved for who you are, right? I have every confidence she does not love you just for money. There's lots of people with money in the world. So she loves the unique combination of things that are you, one factor of which may be that you're a very successful man professionally, and that makes her feel safe, and that makes her feel secure, and it makes her feel like she can really have a future with you that's a bright and lovely one, and she can focus her energies on things other than finance. That's great. This is great, man. We're both happy. We're doing the thing. So what is wrong with just keeping this conversation an ongoing conversation about what is it we need to feel safe? Because if you are in that dynamic where she's gorgeous and he's rich, if she says to him, hey, if we split up, I'm gonna need some things. I'm not really focusing on finances and you have so much more than me. You're telling me the guy's not gonna say, yeah, that makes sense. And by the way, when's the time to have that conversation? When you're madly in love with each other. And at the beginning of this thing, when you're on your knee in front of the restaurant, proposing to the person. You don't have it when you're breaking up. That's the worst time to have that conversation. Have it when you're first having that abundance of optimism and connection to each other. And then, by the way, what does he feel unsafe? He feels unsafe that he's saying, look, I'm willing to contribute financially to this relationship. Clearly, I've proven that. I bought you a Birkin bag. I bought you a car. I pay for your bills. I'm signing on to marry you and to give you a wonderful, beautiful life. Are you entitled to 100% or 50% of everything I've ever owned? I have so much more than you right now. Like, that seems wildly. Are you saying that everything I earn from the date of marriage on, we should split? Like, that's what's great about a prenup. You can make whatever rules you want to in that situation. So I believe there is genuine value in having honest conversations about these things. Look, it's just M&Ms. It's just money. At the end of the day. And by the way, this has no more real value than the pieces of paper you're holding in your pocket that we've attributed value to. If anything, this tastes good. Chew on money all you want. It won't help.
If you love the Diary of a CEO brand and you watch this channel, please do me a huge favor. Become part of the 15% of the viewers on this channel that have hit the subscribe button. It helps us tremendously, and the bigger the channel gets, the bigger the guests.